Rings have joined us. That's late edition. Just had problems logging in, so here we are. Our greatness. So this is gonna be a little bit different, and I don't know where this is gonna go. So this is a secret space program download. So apparently I've had secret space program connections more than I thought I did, or I guess I'm remembering more than I thought. I thought it was fiction, but more as we're looking into it, feels more like a secret space program. I did not realize. I always saw it as fiction, but it's funny. Every time I try to put it in fiction, it never goes anywhere. So that's interesting. It's like it always fails. So that's where we're going to go into. And this might be a continuation also, so because there's a lot. I can remember this stuff backwards and forwards. And there's actually more I can probably dive into the more I concentrate into it. So this might be a piece of some person's puzzle. Like I said, I can re-remember this stuff anytime. So for the most part, some things you forget, like little details, like I don't remember that person's name. But we're gonna go into that. Go into my lateness. Let's see here. This is inventory.com, my private sessions. The shop here, I'm like still in August. Or I'm still in June, whatever we are right now. Whatever the last month was, I'm on like the 31st. Same situation here. Webinar, social network, which I have not posted anything recently. Yeah, it's been a rough day behind the scenes, and let's say, okay. Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of background. So in high school, I was going to work on this like science fiction story of. I'll give you some background of it. So there's a movie that triggered this. It's called Johnny Mnemonic. It's actually Johnny Mnemonic. I'll show it in a second. It's actually a short story where science or some dystopian reality where you put information in your head, like you have a hard drive in your head. Nice reality there. You go to a place to download it, and then you try to survive. Then you go to the upload place. So if you can get there without getting killed. So it's obviously a past life. I can probably go into more details of that in the future. So this is a John Mnemonic. It's not a great movie, but I remember I do own it. Well, I used to own it somewhere, so it's not great, but it has a lot of pieces in it. So Keanu Reeves is the one who they don't really have a picture here of that's him on the internet, but yeah, we're basically downloads information to his head. Anyway, without going into super, you can watch the movie. It's not a great movie, but it does have some elements. You can find stuff on YouTube. Look up. I can put that in the top. I'll probably do more of these, but a cyber reality where you're putting information in your head, and usually these guys are dressed up like hitmen, basically, but they're not hitmen at all. They're just couriers, as they say in the movie. And I was going to write a fiction thing about this, and as I unravel it, I get more details. And I mean, I haven't gone that deep into that realm. I know there's they're always wearing like, it's funny. It's like these guys go around the city downloading stuff, and hopefully they don't get their heads chopped off. Of course, in the movie is like 80 gigabytes, which is nothing. But in this other reality, that I come from, apparently, it's called something else. But yeah, they put a mask, they put a helmet on, they plug in. They download whatever illegal information or corporate information into their head, and then they try to survive. And yeah, it's yeah, they apparently have connections where they can travel and not be detected for the most part. And there's like a whole network of it. And there's one about like the customer in the world I'm connected to, or a customer that wants to, they like buy a robot, like a machine, like a bulletproof, like bomb-proof machine. They can download their information into that. So when the courier comes, they can upload it into their. Why would you do that? Whatever story, but so the courier plugs into the machine, downloads into himself. Because I guess the robot's just hard to transport, something like that. I mean, it's bulletproof, it's bomb proof. I mean, if everybody dies in the whole building, the machine will still be there. You can still plug into it. So that's what I was getting from that. But going further than that, so there's also an android, human android realm. So story where robots and humans. No, the beginning of this I'm not really sure about. I have to look into it a bit more, but I'll just start from like the middle or something like that. But there is a There's a family, kind of wealthy, kind of elite. They have two twin boys, both bald. One's sick, and the other one's healthy. Kind of like the chosen child. The one that's sick, I call him Sebastian. Uh, he's the one that kind of like pushed away from father, and so he connects to like the scientist that's there that works on machines, and he's discarded basically. It doesn't matter. So he clings to this kind of this new father, and he just learns about how androids and all that operate. Later, his father does get killed, assassinated, but the son gets charged. And the son's like a kid. Now, age, I'm not sure, but a kid gets thrown in jail and then becomes really pissed off. And over time, he learns how to. This is where the details come in. Learns how to. He realizes he's growing up in prison basically. But he learns how the AI works, and he can manipulate. And eventually, escapes. Like around 15, where all that happened is not clear, but it doesn't really matter. When he got thrown in there, it's still pretty young. It's like first off, a kid killing is that it's like not happening, but he got charged anyway. But so the kid escaped. The Sebastian character changed his had to change his face and everything, so he can kind of like a gothic rock star. Yeah, nobody's going to notice that, but it still blended in either way. Um, which I always forget every time I go through this in my mind. I always forget this one element. So fast forward back. So you have the twins. He did have a. So they did. They knew another family. Because I'm trying to remember all this too. Um, um, it was kind of like a Scientology family of that world. It's not called that, but it's pretty much like the supreme human allegiance, same as Scientology, kind of twisted. It's like it's the super race of human, not robot, but human. And he grew up with the daughter of that, like a exchange, like an orphan, but now brought into the family, like a adopted. So I call her Zelda, but there's probably another name for her. I just call her. That's easier. So Sebastian grows up with her. She's super psychic. Of course, when he gets thrown in jail and everything, when he comes, where I'm going into that, when he gets out, he goes and finds her, and she can, he tells her, because he's already like changed his form and everything, and then he goes and hunts for who threw him in jail, and I realize all these details, like, and he goes to becomes like a detective basically. Androids that have been shot or get whatever murdered. He goes and investigates them because it leads to whoever did this to him somehow. Detail on that's kind of vague, but I can probably find that down the road. But and then he's kind of like on a detective search. And she can't be seen. She has to wear a cloak over. I know somehow she just keeps herself not seen by people because she's like super famous because she's running that whole cult thing now, which she absolutely hates. So she has to keep a low profile, but she's also very intuitive at the same time. So yeah, that's a whole nother story on that. to go. So he gets. I'm not going into details of where some of this came from because actually I went to a goth club. This is back in 2011 to actually download this stuff. We're thinking that was all fiction, but now I'm seeing it. Maybe it's not because I know the details very well. And I can probably go into more, like I said. But back in 2011, I left. I went to a goth club, just like couldn't really connect to anybody, but I was very much downloading from because it's a gothic world basically. Well, that's the other thing. I'm kind of skipping around. Well, we'll just go back. So anyway, he gets the Ronin character. You know, he has his hair all jazzed up. Sebastian's now more called Ronin now, and he's approached by a wealthy person like David Rockefeller. He knows who he is. He's like, "I'll give you power. I'll let you get you back at your father because your father treated you like shit anyway." And and Ronin agrees. How that went down, I don't know. But like, how did it take like 2 weeks to figure it out, or that day? It's not that important. But anyway, Ronin gets put back into Sebastian mode. You know, gets his bald, looks just like him again, the old guy. I know it's weird, but it's a weird reality. Um, and then let's see what else happens. Yeah, Sebastian gets his like kind of his own like aerospace company or the power of his father. I have to remember what his father's connected to, but anyways, connected to aerospace. But so there's like this smart city that you're trying to develop, like super city, like an intuitive city. But the thing is that Sebastian wants to control. So it's like either our way or you're dead. So so basically, it took away people cannot wear color anymore, but you can have everything you want, but you can't wear color. And if anybody wears any color as the elite, and if you're not one of the elite and you're wearing color, and you get to go thrown in jail. So basically, they're just shooting people left and right if they're not part of this. And that's where more of the robotics become more part of the of reality. Makes things a lot easier, but you're enslaved basically. Life is easier. You don't have to work so much, but you're enslaved pretty much. You have to go by what they say, like curfews and whatever it might be. But the thing is, they have nightclubs like goth clubs where people do kind of they have like illegal color night, and then it gets invaded. Cops come in, but it's just because they just try to pump in everybody that you can't have color at all in your life. So that's what you're saying. So Sebastian is well-to-do. He does have a wife that's kind of superficial, and this is where you can say he meets like another person. Her name is Mina. Now, how he meets her is not clear, but he's like it's kind of like I see two different realities. I see one where she's a robot, android, and the other where she has like an implant where she thinks she is. So we just go like say she's a robot in this one, and so I create a relationship. I guess that's something I'm connected to. But in this, it's also connected to the government too, because like he has a kid with his first wife that's superficial and fake and whatever. His kid gets mind controlled and does a school shooting. So Sebastian goes after the government, like literally goes to war with them. And that's when a large war occurs, and a lot of the humans get kind of wiped out. Not all of them, and that's what androids. What thing Sebastian was doing also is improving the androids to be more humanoid. So he was like kind of like a father to them. But over time, during all of this, gangsters are basically trying to control android beings to take them over, to do whatever they want. Usually, it's something like rob a bank or whatever it might be, kill people, whatever. That was like hijacking. That's like pretty much how we get hijacked. But this is with robots or humanoid. I mean, humanoid robots look pretty much like us. I mean, there's not really hard to. It's really hard to tell the difference actually. And that's why another thing, like you have this future city, it has uh, no androids allowed unless they're like working. but then they find out like the mayor is an android. Certain, it's kind of done quietly, kind of like what we're going through now with Superficial Man in office right now. It's the same thing. Just with it's just more known that the machines are here, but they keep it pretty much off, away from uh, the public and what's going on. Going into more and deeper into this, so the Sebastian character eventually he has a relationship with the Mina character, and everything's pretty decent, at least for him, while everybody's enslaved and stuff. He eventually gets assassinated. Well, half dead, not fully dead, and that's where the Zelda character comes in and kind of wipes his brain. And because they need him for this, they need him to stop whatever is going on. It's like some kind of messed up reality. So they put him back to the Ronin, where he's like a rock star, but he can't remember who he was. So they kind of like implants him back into society with like false memories, stuff like that. But over time, he gets kind of memories of the Sebastian self. So he kind of knows that he's him, but he's not really sure. And even around the Mina, because Mina comes back into his life like a partner, like a Sherlock Holmes, and you have Watson, kind of like that. But every once in a while, he switch back into Sebastian. And he's like pretty much like a gangster, kind of like what is it, Bugsy Siegel, similar to that. You say similar to Stalin in some regard. It's like you're really nice, charming, and then just pretty much kill a bunch of people, stuff like that. So it's a little bit of weird on that. But like I said, I got details and details and details, and I don't know, it's quite, and that's just part of it. And it's the Ronin character is part of um, the data, the ones that are carrying the information in their head. He's pretty much involved with that system, but he's still doing like androids and all that discovery, like android crimes and things like that. He gets hired quietly for like wealthy people, like their maid gets killed. It's like, who did that? Was that your lover or whatever it is? You can usually trace it back. It usually turns into something messed up later on. So it's just it's kind of like a screwed up cyber reality where you don't know who what is. There are also android cities. Those are more colorful. They want nothing to do with the humans. But this one's the city is called Cybernetic City. Is the energy I got from that. So here I'm thinking this is all fiction, and it ends up being a download. And it's not obviously for everybody, but it's there's more to it than that. Basically, the Ronin character does get switched back over time. Well, yeah, and because Mina and him are kind of just partners in crime. That's about it. Ronin ends up getting married, but then she gets blown, assassinated basically by his wife that was Sebastian, the superficial wife. So she can bring back Sebastian too. And Sebastian ends up, Ronan pretty much switches over because he kind of lost it, and he goes after that religious group. I think they're, the Zelda group. He goes after them and wipes them out. Eventually, it's not pleasant, but that's a good portion of it. It's not everything, but that's the robot detective. Basically, it's where you can see like the soul coming out of the machine, and also how the machines do actually activate through the androids activate through his voice. They recognize him, so like his voice can open them up a little bit more where others have trouble. Meaning he can probably fix any of them or diagnose them. So him as a detective kind of makes sense because he knows them a little bit better than everybody else, but they can recognize him too, even if he looks like somebody totally different. So it's just so it's like a cybernetic hell, you can say. They have fast cars. They have like the Lamborghinis in that realm, but also they have, I don't know, kind of old fashioned vehicles, but also futuristic. It's a little bit of everything. Yeah, there was also, remember the So you have those like cybernetic hell, and then you have or controlled reality. Then you have the android cities, but they're also creating a kind of like a world like ours, where it looks kind of decent. You have color, you have all this, but it's majorly controlled. Kind of like the Truman Show, something like that, where they just control society. So it's where the world is kind of on fire, basically. It's like the human war between humans and machines, kind of. I mean, the androids don't really want to fight humans, really. I mean, it's the humans are so programmed anyway. There's some of that, but it's mostly like androids kind of taking over humanity slowly. As humans start dying out, they're just not as strong as they used to be. It's not really a war; it's kind of like a silent war where they're just kind of dropping like flies, and androids are becoming more part of society. That's part of it, but that doesn't mean like the end of humanity altogether. So, what world this is on? I don't know. I was like 19 or something like that, probably younger when I picked up on all this. First, it was just the data carriers that just carry information in it, and it just went off in this whole Android reality. Um, not really telling me much. I don't think they really want this stuff out there. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's just yeah, there's more details I can go into, but that was quite a bit as it is. um, yeah, the couriers that carry information in their head, yeah, they're kind of like hitmen. Like I said, they don't shoot anybody or anything like that, but they're pretty sophisticated what they can do. And that's where you get your job, your part-time job, just plugging your head into something. You get upgrades and things like that, but they're usually well dressed, over like $1,000 suits, things like that. So usually it's about the wealthy trying to hide themselves, trying to hide what they're up to, whatever it might. It's like a war between two families, basically, when it comes down to it. I don't really have a clear name of these families, and that matters. Um, there was one with the story. So I put this in a comic. It was going 60 pages, kind of rough. Uh, and the artist was in China, but then the virus hit. Never saw the artist again. So, and I'm trying to do it again, but then something came up. I can't do it this time either. So every time I try to make something out of this, it gets blocked. So, oh yeah, that was the other thing. I know there's more layers. I can't remember everything. So the twin brother of Sebastian, I'll call him Edwin. That's kind of a crappy name. We'll just go by the names I call him in the beginning. He's kind of flamboyant. We just women love him. And he's kind of he's just kind of stupid, but he can also play off as Sebastian, so he can come off as him. The facial features, they kind of put something over his face so he looks more like him, and then afterwards it just rips it off. It's like, what the hell am I doing with this? So we're kind of making it look like Sebastian's still running the show when it really isn't. So, and the story I was working on was I can't remember it. It was like let's see, that's right. A girl was being approached that hurt. The Ronin character approached her, say, "Yeah, your mom and dad. I can't remember. The mother's an android." You can say, "Yeah, by the way, your mom's an android." Of course, that goes off really well, and then eventually the daughter slowly figures out her mother's an android and a psycho at the same time, and it's like she was raised by a machine this whole time, and the daughter slowly becomes a villain. So it sort of grew up in a kind of a twisted reality already, and just becomes more of the bad guy. So there's more to it than that. I can't quite remember the story of it, but yeah, there's those little things that basically just telling people that, yeah, by the way, we're raised by androids and they're illegal here. How the hell did that happen? So, or people get swapped out too. So you have a regular person, just like you have here cloning. You have a regular person and then you get swapped out by a machine, but nobody knows. So, uh, Anything else? They're not telling me anything. It's pretty much blocked there, but like I said, I go back for it. There's more details, but that's the gist of it. Basically, it comes down to a yeah android robot detective trying to kind of redeem himself. But, like he's the one that caused a lot of this problems, and now he's here to fix it. And they also have like aging, like they can age longer, like they can extend their ages for a long time. So there's that. Oh yeah, and the L. Ron Hubbard thing. I might just lay it out. Yeah, just lay it out. Just instead of just calling it some kind of religion, it's pretty much Scientology. So the L. Ron Hubbard guy dies. I forget how that dies in the story, but the daughter, the Zelda girl, control. She's in charge of it. She hates her. She actually goes. She actually plays the role, like as the villain. She has henchmen and all of that, trying to get people to fall for all their BS. Kind of sell it the same way Scientology does. But then afterwards, she's having those meetings and all that. She just wants to fucking die. I mean, it's like how long can I keep faking this? Like she only just stays in because she can get people out of it, and it's like if somebody else gets in, they'll just do worse. Of course, she's not doing exactly anything good either. She's doing pretty bad things herself. So it's kind of like a twit. Yeah, it's just a mess. But she knows about the Ronin character. She knows about obviously she's one why he can't remember anything and his memory glimpses and all that. So yeah, it's just a massive layered. Yeah, I was trying to make this into a story, and like it's still like I said, there's more layers that I haven't tapped into yet. But like I said, it's pretty. You can go pretty far with it. Let's see if there's anything else. I think that's about it overall. It's a lot to unpack. Uh, yeah, I'm going back to the robot, the Ronin character. They also have like in the cybernetic city, they have like lottery. It's kind of like kind of like what we have, but it's not the same. But it's kind of a front. It is a front for they got the couriers that put the information in their heads. So it's people have ways of contacting them, even if it's kind of known that they're involved. There's it's kind of like an open secret, but there's other competitors and things like that. It just basically, it doesn't make any sense when you think about it, taking information back and forth, but it's an experiment. It's an experimental world. I mean, talking about taking a chunk out of your brain, putting an implant into your head, and you just carry information, back and forth, and hopefully you don't get your head chopped off. That's the gist of that. There's more to it than that, probably, but I mean, some of them are slick. Some are like CIA, kind of CIA type of guys. And it's usually men that males are doing it because the females are not. Some females they reject the program, I guess, and males are just kind of just go with it. It's just easier to just works better with them. But there are some females that do the same thing, but not many. So yeah, it's just kind of like this black ops. It's not supposed to be known at all, basically. I mean, you have the androids and the humans, but androids are not even supposed to be in places that they are. Like the cybernetic city, they're not supposed to be there. Like unless they're like registered or something. But pretty much illegal overall. So like that to be part of the program. So yeah, it's a pretty like I say, this isn't for everybody, but some people are into all this secret space program stuff. I get it's some kind of Archon secret space program. Like I said, I've had it forever. I remember it pretty quick. I wrote some stuff down here and there I might have forgotten, but overall, it's pretty much the same thing. Um, yeah, it's uh, it's basically you can say it's war of two families of basically control. Who can control reality? Who can control what? Who does what? They don't really care about the little people, basically. And what's the end game? There's really none. It's just whoever can win. Whoever doesn't end up dead, I guess you could say. So. And this is all about revealing, you know, android beings that are being, like who's a robot, revealing more of that. how much they are integrated into society. Like people think androids aren't around that much, kind of find out they're everywhere. So, and the world is kind of blown. It's kind of dystopian. I mean, there are places where it's like very futuristic, but then you go out to other areas, it's like dead. It's like nothing. Kind of like Arizona, but more like you have cities that have just been blown to smithereens. So, where it's located at is not really clear. I always felt it was around Canada area, but it's not really clear where it's at. That was like an older version of Earth or something like that. It's not. I felt actually Africa is more developed, um, just like a twisted version of our reality. Yeah. Hopefully that's helpful for somebody. Yeah, it's a lot to take in, and yeah. All right, that's it. I don't know if I might just do a whole another video on it. Maybe not here, but I just figure out I'll put this out here somewhere. So.